The observation deck of the luminous crest trembled with the force of Princess Zixthera's wails. The Korvaxian hatchling, barely 3 cycles old, possessed lungs that could shatter crystalline viewports and a temperament to match. Her scales, still soft and pearl-white, rippled with bioluminescent distress patterns that hurt to look at directly. "Someone silence that creature before I jettison myself into the void," muttered Commander his 4 arms pressed against his auditory receptors. Ola Martinez stood near the entrance, trying very hard not to laugh. The human engineer had been summoned from the lower decks specifically because every Korvaxian caretaker, nanny, and royal attendant had failed to soothe the princess. The Empire's first hatchling in 2 centuries wouldn't stop screaming, and the Empress herself had threatened to execute the entire staff. "You are the human." A tall Korvaxian female approached, her scales a deep violet that signified high rank. "The one called Orcs." "That's me." Orla adjusted her maintenance coveralls, suddenly aware she probably smelled like hydraulic fluid and recycled air. "Though I should mention, I fix engines, not babies. The Empress has reviewed your file. You possess something called nephews and nieces back on Earth. 5 of them, yeah, but they're human kids." Not Orla gestured at the writhing, screaming ball of scales and fury currently being restrained by 3 exhausted attendants. "Whatever that is, Princess Ixara has rejected all Korvaxian sustenance. She will not feed. She will not sleep. Our medical scanners detect no illness, yet she exhibits extreme distress." The violet Korvaxian's eyes, all 6 of them, fixed on Orla with desperate intensity. "The Empress believes a fresh perspective may help." "A human perspective, right? No pressure or anything." Orla approached the screaming hatchling cautiously. Up close, Zixthera was actually kind of cute beneath all the noise and chaos, like an angry pearl with tiny claws and oversized eyes that glowed amber with fury. The attendants backed away, gratefully as Orla knelt down. The princess's wails increased in volume, a sonic assault that made Orla's teeth ache. "Hey there, little one," Orla said softly, knowing the hatchling probably couldn't understand English but hoping her tone would help. "Having a rough day?" Zixthera paused, hiccuped, then resumed screaming with renewed vigor. Orla thought about her nephew Tommy, who'd had colic as a baby. Sometimes kids just needed ... different. She stood and turned to the violet Korvax. "What have you been feeding her?" "Nutrient paste, calibrated precisely to hatchling requirements. Temperature-controlled, enzyme-balanced, vitamin-enriched." "Yeah, that sounds terrible." Orla pulled out her cum device. "Oscar, you there?" Oscar Chen's voice crackled through. "Hey Orla, how's the babysitting going? I need a favor. Can you raid the human quarters kitchen and bring me some stuff? Nothing toxic to reptilian biology, check the database. But get creative." "Creative how?" "Tommy creative." There was a pause. Oscar had met her nephew during their last Earth leave. "Oh, that creative. On it." 20 minutes later, Oscar arrived with a suspicious-looking container. The agricultural specialist grinned as he handed it over. "If this works, you owe me a week of engine room shifts." Dear Orla opened the container to reveal mashed bananas, pureed sweet potato, a small jar of something that looked like applesauce. And she raised an eyebrow. "Is that mac and cheese?" "Hey, you said creative. That's the good stuff from hydroponics. Real cheddar, not the synthetic garbage." The Korvaxian attendants watched with mounting horror as Orla approached the still-screaming princess with earth food. "You cannot possibly intend to feed the royal hatchling that ... that alien substance." "Got a better idea," Orla shot back. She dipped her finger in the mashed banana and held it near Zixthera's face. The screaming stopped instantly. The princess's nostrils flared, her forked tongue flickering out to taste the air. Those amber eyes, so full of rage moments before, suddenly focused with intense curiosity on the yellow substance. Orla held her breath. Zixthera leaned forward and licked the banana. Her eyes widened. Then impossibly a sound emerged from her that no one in the room had ever heard before. A giggle. The Korvaxian hatchling giggled, a burbling, chirping sound of pure delight. Her scales shifted from distressed red to happy gold, bioluminescence pulsing in cheerful patterns. "More." Orla offered another fingerful. Zixthera lunged forward, nearly falling over her own stubby legs in her eagerness. She licked the banana off Orla's finger with enthusiasm, then giggled again, louder this time. Her tiny tail wagged like a puppy's. The observation deck had gone, completely silent except for the princess's delighted chirps. Oscar stepped forward with the sweet potato. "Try this one." Orla offered it. Zixthera tasted it, paused, then sneezed a tiny explosive sound that sent a puff of bioluminescent spores into the air. She giggled even harder at her own sneeze. laughing. The violet Korvaxian sounded awestruck. I have never heard a hatchling laugh before. Yeah, well, your nutrient paste probably tastes like cardboard. Orla was now fully committed to this insane experiment. She tried the applesauce next. Another giggle. Then a happy squeal as Zixtara discovered she could smear the applesauce on her own scales and lick it off. By the time they reached the mac and cheese, which Oscar had thankfully cooled to a safe temperature, the princess was rolling on her back, giggling uncontrollably as the strange textures and flavors delighted her developing senses. She grabbed a tiny fistful of pasta and stuffed it in her mouth, then made a surprised trill that might have been approval. Commander Thelanax approached slowly, all four arms raised in a gesture of surrender. The Empress must be informed immediately. You have achieved what our finest minds could not. I just gave her something interesting to eat, Orla said, watching as Zixtara discovered she could throw mac and cheese across the room and find it hilarious. Sometimes kids just need ... unexpected. Oscar grinned. Humanity? Fuck yeah, right? We solve intergalactic crises with junk food. It's not junk food, Orla protested, though she was smiling. It's culturally significant Earth cuisine. The Empress herself arrived within the hour, her massive form radiating both power and maternal concern. She stopped dead when she saw her daughter covered in banana, sweet potato, and cheese sauce, giggling as the human held her and made silly faces. You have given me back my child, the Empress said, her voice thick with emotion. Name your reward, human Orla. Orla looked down at the happy, messy princess in her arms. How about we start a human Korvaxian cultural exchange program? I think your people might benefit from learning that perfection isn't always the answer. Sometimes the best solution is the one that makes someone laugh. The Empress's scales shifted to a warm, approving gold. Agreed, and perhaps you would consider staying on as the Royal Hatchling's cultural advisor, only if Oscar gets to be head chef. Oscar gave her a look. I grow vegetables. Not Zixtara giggled, reached out a tiny claw toward Oscar, and said something that the translators rendered as more cheese. Oscar sighed. Fine, but I'm teaching her about pizza. Next, as the observation deck filled with laughter, both human and Korvaxian, Orla realized that maybe the galaxy didn't always need advanced technology or military might. Sometimes it just needed someone willing to try something different, to bring a little Earth chaos to the ordered universe. And maybe, just maybe, that's what humanity did best.